Okay, take it away, John.
Hello, everyone. This is John McGaw, Bill Moist. We're here to talk a little bit about RV and RV storage and storage in general. Bill, why don't you introduce yourself?
I have extensive experience as a CPA and accountant. I have a master's degree in taxation. I taught at the University of Texas at Arlington, but I got into real estate and learned from a mentor who taught me this some 30 years ago.
Yeah, hi, and I'm John McGaw, and been in real estate for almost 30 years. Me and my ex-wife were home builders in Grapevine. She went on to build houses. I did rentals, been through different programs like Lifestyles Unlimited, Brad Sumrocks. I've done passive investing, also sponsored deals, and senior living, multifamily. And we got a couple of stories here about what's going on. Now, Bill, I'll start. One of them is Cubesmart, and what's going on with this, today's situation. Just last week, I was at Cubesmart. My girlfriend has a storage there, so I asked them, "Hey, how's things going? Or are you guys renting?" And I kind of know the answer to this. They say that they're at 97% occupied. He can't even keep up. And then the other day I was buying a gift for someone at the Bass Pro, and I asked that. He was a general manager. I said, well, what are your sales like now? He says, we're so far, we're out of inventory, but our sales are up 70%, and we still don't have what people want, but they're up 70%. And here's some of the stuff that's selling: outdoor equipment, workout, guns, boats, Yeti coolers, motorcycles and RVs, bicycles of all kinds. And what we're saying there is we got some inside information. And Bill, I'll let you take this slide.
Yeah, I know it's interesting. One of the reasons we like real estate investing is it really is true, we can get inside information. In the regulated stock world, Martha Stewart has some inside information, and she went to jail and her company lost over $1 billion in value. So the property we bought, last property we bought, we found out that the rumor was that Buc-ee's was going in just down the street from us. And so I put the property under contract, and lo and behold, Buc-ee's came in and we moved forward with the contract. So yeah, there is inside information in real estate that we can find. It just takes some digging, but it's out there and it gives us a competitive advantage.
And of course, it's safe to share, just like that's how I learned real estate, is insider information and how to do it. And speaking about information, these are news. All the news channels are reporting the same thing. RV sales surge during the coronavirus. Forbes reports about people renting RVs. ABC News reporting also RV sales surge. Yahoo reports RVs, demands for 100 plus RVs soar after coronavirus. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we're here to talk about, how to make some money during these times and even after these times. So here's another story, a little more in depth about the Yahoo interview. Thor Industries had its best year in over 30 years. They've owned Airstream since '85. They also own, they put their chassis on Mercedes-Benz, and they're just selling like crazy. It's a great interview. And here's another story. So I went to the world's largest dealer of RVs. Same thing. I asked the guy, the sales guys were running all over the shop and all over the property, but I stopped one and said, "Hey, how's things going?" This is in Tampa, Florida. And he says, "We can't keep up with the demand." So things are just really hopping for RVs. Bill, I'll let you take this one. This is a Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal did a study on what are people going to do for vacations this year, and they found that one of the safest ways is with RVs. And one of the places that rents RVs out said that they've got all kinds of people who rent who are like pro athletes, celebrities, and they've even had a few billionaires rent this year. So what they found was that people, only 14% of the travelers feel safe taking domestic flights, and 17%, only 17% feel safe in a hotel resort, according to late April poll.
Yeah, and so we know that during these times, it's a lot of people aren't taking cruise ships, buses. Some people are still afraid to fly in trains. It's just close quarters. So that's why we see a surge in the RV space. Bill, what about working from home? What about working from RVs? Do parks have Wi-Fi's?
Yeah, it's interesting. More and more people are working from home as they, can't go to the office. And so because it's all electronic now, they can be almost any place. So probably all RV parks of any size have Wi-Fi's. And of course, the later models of RVs have Wi-Fi built in. And so now you can be any place and doing your job, doing your work. And I have friends who are full-time RVers traveling the country and take their business with them.
Yeah, very good. So here's a little story about the sales and how they're really, really growing and really selling. So I called this is the world's largest in size RV dealer, and it's in Texas, right off, what is that, 30? 35?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the same thing, they're selling 20 RVs a day. And that's double what they did this time last year. Bill, I'll let you take this one about the Forbes article.
Well, yeah, so another article here is where to vacation safely when travel restrictions are lifted. And again, people are taking road trips. Outdoorsy is one of the rental places where you can rent RVs. They have 40,000 unique RVs in 4,800 cities. It's like Airbnb for RVs, and their business is just exploding right now. People are renting more and more than ever in the past.
And now I know that 10 million households last year owned RVs. Now, what percentage or how many own or do it full time?
Well, surveys show that over 1 million people, 1 million households actually are full-time RVers. Traditionally that was like the retired folks that would sell the house and travel. But now we have people who are working, traveling like we talked about. We also have a lot of families with children who are homeschooling their children and they're traveling the country. I have a friend who's got 6 children and they've been RVing now for the last 6 years.
I'd like to tell a little story here, just what I heard today. So, of course, again, I'm in Florida, and I'm working from home working remote for a month here in Florida. So I talked to the guy next door. He went on an RV trip. He rented from that place, Outdoorsy, or Rent RV. And anyway, he took a month, and he said it was the nicest people, and it was a spiritual experiment. So, I mean, it's just fantastic. A lot of people are doing it. Now, Bill, what about our RV parks full? Our RV storage full?
Yeah, we've been surveying the North Texas market for quite a while, and most RV resorts or RV parks are full and have a waiting list. In fact, many of them don't even answer the phone because they have a waiting list. It's very difficult to find a place to store an RV. There's a lot of reasons for that. They're full, the ones that are available. In fact, one RV salesman told me that he loses sales from time to time because people can't find a place to store it. So that's why we focus on these two markets, because there's a shortage in both of them.
And of course, we had one of our investors call 70-something sites. And out of the 70, there were 26 that didn't answer. The reason they didn't answer, he found out, is because they didn't have to. They just used their waiting list. Now, we talked about this, why they go together, and let's talk a little bit about storage. And I'll let you speak to this self-storage slide here.
Yeah, sure. So self-storage and mobile home parks are recession proof. The reason being is that, people are traveling more and they got to have a place to store it. And the thing is, the RV and mobile home parks don't sound like they go together, but actually in a lot of mobile home parks, you can't park your RV. And so both of these have done really well in the recession. In fact, we're actually growing.
Right, and we're going to talk about that. So I have two friends that, well, three, you and Doug and Lydia Wong. Now, Doug Taft told me March 2020 was his best month in unit rented. And Lydia told me that April was 100% paid in full and all their large units were rented out. So that's incredible. I mean, March is when all this started, right? And April was when it was really going and people were having problems paying, but they were still paying their storage. Now, Bill, the next slide here is about your storage, boat and RV storage in Wiley. Tell us a little bit about the numbers there.
Yeah, it was interesting. The recession officially started in June. In June, we raised rent on 65 tenants. It was an additional a $12 increase, and then another $5 increase on 10. So we're going against not only holding our own, we're going against the trend right now. So that's an $830 monthly increase, or almost $10,000 a year in additional rents, and that's just one of many increases we'll have. So for the month of June, we had 9 move-ins and 5 move-outs, a net of 4 unit increases. We're now at a 95% occupancy, and so far this year we have a net increase of 17 units. Now these are big units for RV and boat storage. So it shows the recession is not only not hurting us, but it's actually helping us.
That's great. So what about landlord friendly? What about when you have to, get some stuff out, or somebody passes away and nobody knows about the storage? How do you repurpose that storage?
Well, we know that some asset classes are having trouble evicting tenants because of rules passed by the government to protect those who can't afford. But in storage, they've left us alone. So what happens is, if you can't pay your rent, then we lock you out, and then we try to negotiate with you to get you to pay something, and have you come get your stuff. But at some point in time, if nothing works out, then there's a firm that'll come in, they'll ask you an auction to sell your property, because we want to rent that unit out. So that's the last resort, but sometimes that happens. But the good news is we don't have to go to the courthouse. We just file a notice in the paper and send you several notices, and we're free to go forward.
Yeah, that's good. So I'll talk about this. I've owned many single family homes and had to take care of myself, and I'm passive in quite a few apartments. But when I had those single family homes, it was almost always I had to do some kind of repairs to rent it, and had to continue to paint the outside or get the trees out of it. With storage and RV parks, Bill, what do we have to do when someone leaves?
Well, basically sweep out their unit. If it's storage, with RV park, really we just mow the grass like we normally would, but there really isn't any make ready for either of these two products.
So one RV pulls away, another one pulls in.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So Bill, I know you like this slide. I'm going to let you take it. What's going on? What can we expect in storage for the next few years?
Well, self-storage is an $87 billion market in 2019, and it's expected to grow to $115 billion by 2025. That's a 134% growth rate over 5 years. And all the evidence is that that really is the growth rate is going to continue, and the pandemic just accelerated that growth.
Yeah, and I'd like to mention, Bill, I know we got these numbers before March, so this is going to be much better than what they state here. And now, Bill, what's it take to put something like this together, an RV park and storage?
Well, you can see here I have lots of architectural designs and engineering design plans there rolled up, and there's a book that's about 6 feet, not 6 feet, it's about 6 to 10 feet, 6 inches deep with all the specifications, and that costs about $200,000, and that's what it takes to get started with an RV park from scratch.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a lot of paper there. Hey, that concludes our webinar. So like we say, in good times and bad, storage is a great place to invest. And thanks everyone for joining, and have a good rest of your day, and stay safe out there. Bill, would you